Hey, this is a podcast. No, wait, it's a comedy podcast. Well, we tried to make it a comedy podcast, and it's not meant to offend anyone. So don't get offended, okay? And wait, there's something else. Oh, yeah, yeah. Listener discretion is advised.
Audiomatic presents Our Last Week.
Hi, Kunal.
Hi, Pal.
So, Kunal, I'm back in the UK for some shows.
Yes.
And I'm being harassed from all fronts for Rishi Sunak jokes.
But I mean, what jokes are left
Yeah.
now? How many?
And there's one sort of weird stereotypical jokes going around about, you've seen this, about Punjabi MC playing at 10 Downing Street. Shoes are going to be left
Yeah,
outside
yeah.
10 Downing Street. 10 Downing Street is now going to become an Indian wedding venue. Those kinds of none of these things will obviously happen. But,
Yeah.
it's almost like that Goodness Gracious Me sketch, Everything is Indian.
Yeah.
It has that kind of like, it's almost like watching that satire come to life.
So, have you come up with anything? Because I mean, the demand must be tremendous, and like your phone must be ringing. They're saying, "Oh, we have this Indian stand-up. He's definitely going to do some Rishi Sunak jokes.
Yeah,
He's
but
going to have them all."
I mean, if Boris Johnson was Indian, then it's fine because he's doing all the work for you.
Yeah.
Even Boris Johnson, not being Indian, has done more funny Indian things. Like he said, Mr. Modi, I saw my hoardings and I look like Amitabh Bachchan. He said that. Then he had some brilliant quotes also. I think Boris Johnson at one point, he said, my friends, as I have discovered myself, there are no disasters, only opportunities. And indeed, opportunities for fresh disasters.
No, but see now what you're talking about in terms of Trump and in terms of Boris Johnson and all. These are people who do crazy things, say crazy things.
Yeah.
Uh, Rishi Sunak may end up doing crazy things. I don't know, but I think that here, even before he opens his mouth, even before you see his face, or even before anything, the whole thing is that he's Indian. He's of Indian origin. So the humor is just going to come from that. There's
Yeah.
no, as in he could be the straightest guy in the world, but it doesn't matter, right? I mean, this is all now going to be all those typical Indian.
It's sad, right? Because he's probably not even very Indian. His parents were doctors in Uganda. His grandparents moved from India many, many years ago. He was born in Southampton, raised, went to, a top British school. And if he comes out to give a policy speech, right? And he's talking about UK taxation or whatever, and suddenly someone goes, Balle, balle! Like, what is the meaning of that?
Yeah.
Like what? This is like, why suddenly add things, you are 1/4 Jewish, right? Which very few people know,
Yeah.
right? And
Yes.
if you took over, say, but you are known as an Indian Bollywood actor, if you suddenly became Prime Minister of India, and you suddenly broke into Hebrew and said, this is a great day for Israel. Like, that's not going to happen, right? Because you don't have any. But suddenly, if people started shouting out, heckles to you in Hebrew, they start making
Yeah.
jokes, like Chaim, like some nonsense. They started pretzel. They started shouting out shit. And you're like, what? I mean, some point my family is Jewish, but I've lived in South Bombay. What are you doing,
Correct.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, what do you say about this guy? He's quite a bland investment banker.
No, but I think that, and that's why I think that to the credit of most people in Britain who see him as an investment banker, I think that's great. As in, if you see him as an incompetent guy or a guy who is out of depth, or if you see him as a guy who, or you have hope in him, or you just see him as a spoiled brat, whatever you want to see him as long as you don't see him as only only
Indian.
a color.
Yeah.
As an Indian guy, that's fine. You could like him or hate him, that's okay. But I mean, don't see him by his ethnicity, at least. So that's what I like. I mean, I like the fact that they see him as, it's going to be, I mean, we're all going to get screwed, or this is wonderful, or whatever, however you want. But as long as they don't see him as, this is just an Indian guy. So that's great. I think that's good.
I do think so. In fact, if anything, it feels like the joke is on us. Like, let's say Rishi Sunak is speaking somewhere and some idiot, suddenly starts shouting, Sat Sri Akal! Some nonsense like that. Namaste! People are like, what are you saying? Like, I feel like when these WhatsApps are circulating, the joke is on us. Downing Street is
Yeah.
going to turn into an Indian wedding venue. Ah! You're like, what are you saying? None of these things are happening. So we look like idiots when we are doing these things. We
Yeah.
look like we're in a
Yeah.
Goodness Gracious Me sketch.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember that in that Goodness Gracious Me where Sanjeev Bhaskar went around saying, Jesus Christ is Indian. He's Indian. Everything is
Yeah.
Indian. Like the uncle had some logical explanation how everything was Indian.
Yeah.
The queen is Indian. It's like that. So we're forcing Indianness on people. Kunal,
Yes.
my first conundrum is this. I had my dad's birthday recently, and I had ordered a cake for my dad's birthday. And the cake lady told me the price and what kind of cake, and we discussed. And she sent the cake, and I paid her, and it was fine. It was fine. Now, my conundrum is that the morning of the birthday, separate from the cake that was ordered and paid for, she
Yeah.
sent a cake to my dad as a present. So the cake lady that we order from is a family acquaintance. So she sent over a cake as a present. And my conundrum is this. Had I known she was sending over a present, I would not have bought a cake from her. Because she sent over a much larger, nicer cake as a present. But do you think if I hadn't ordered the cake from her, she wouldn't have sent over the present, in which case I'd have to buy a cake anyway?
Yeah.
And why did she not on the phone tell me that she was going to send a cake over as a present? And therefore, I would not have to spend $5,000 buying a cake. Because now I have two cakes, one for free and one that I've paid for. And I can't decide whether the present cake is only because I made the purchase or she would have sent it to my dad anyway.
Yeah, no, this is a tough one. Also because, see, she is a family friend, right? I mean, she's like an acquaintance. She must have known the family. She must have done so many cakes over the years for the family.
Yeah.
And now the thing is that like for her to do it, I guess is, and your dad is he must be 80 now. And so she must be doing it out of the
Love,
the love and all of that for the family and everything. The problem I see that if she does it for everyone that orders a cake, like then it's truly a problem. Like if she says, oh, how lovely, it's his birthday, but obviously it's someone's birthday or anniversary because you're getting a cake. As in, generally you don't just, I mean, very rarely do you just wake up one morning and say, today I feel like ordering a cake, just on a whole cake. Like it's generally an occasion.
Yeah.
Because I think more people should just wake up every morning and just say, I want a cake, and then then you just order it, and then the person will say, what is the occasion? You say, there's no occasion, I just want to eat a cake. I just want
full
to eat
cake
the whole thing
alone. Yeah.
Whole cake. But I'm saying that given that she's obviously does it for mostly occasions, and then if she supplemented the order with an extra cake of equal size or sometimes larger,
I mean, this case was bigger. Like the cake that came was bigger and nicer. It was, she recommended
more decadent.
She
like some other fruit and stuff.
Yeah, it had orange. It had layers of cream and orange. So she recommended a chocolate cake, which was okay, which was fine. The one I paid for.
Yeah.
But the one that she sent herself was much more lush and rich with fruits and little alcohol in it, and it was glorious.
Did she make it to make you seem small in front of your own dad?
I think so. Because then why did she not tell me, Arey, why are you buying it? I'm sending a cake for your dad's birthday anyway. It's your dad's 82nd birthday. Of course I'll
But
send a
then
cake.
she wouldn't. But I think it is a catch-22 because I don't think she would have sent anything if you hadn't ordered. You have to have ordered.
This is what I mean. In fact, even if she told me, you order a small cake because I'll send a
because
present.
I'm going to be sending another one. Yeah.
In which case, I'm going to make you feel small anyway because the present I'll send will show off my artistic skill and it'll have my signature on it. So, I didn't know any of this. This was all coded messaging.
When it comes to cake, now there are a lot of egos involved, a lot of sensitivity.
Yeah.
People always cake is always a very competitive thing. It's a very competitive food.
Yeah. Can I just add one small thing about the part of India that you live in, right? You live in South Bombay, which probably has the largest accumulation of individual cake makers anywhere in India, right? And
Well, cake to human ratio is quite high.
it's almost 1-to-1. And what I'd like to say is that if you are in the know, if you are a local in the know, then you have usually a lady, a home baker who makes the best cakes. And there's a secret cabal of information, like, for example, if you are in Bombay and you're buying a cake from a shop, then you're clearly like, a visitor or you don't know what's going on and you're an idiot. You don't know. You're not in the know. You failed already because you're going to a commercial establishment. And within the individual ladies who bake cakes, there's a hierarchy. Like for example, if you say I used to get my cakes from Josephine. Everyone knows Josephine. They'll say, "Oh, Josephine is finished now. It's Niharika.
She's over.
Over. It's Niharika." And these are all individuals who don't have a Google rating. They don't function in the 21st century in any way. It's still a +9122 phone number.
Landline. It's a landline.
From another era.
I have a friend who's a baker, and we have a common friend. And that common friend invites her to the birthday and stuff like that. And they're quite close generally. But at the birthday party, he makes it a point to order a cake from somewhere else. Not from her bakery, knowing fully well that she is going to get a cake with her for sure. So by inviting her, and obviously he's going to invite her, they're quite close, but to spite her at the same time, he gets a cake from somewhere else so that it keeps her in check for one, and just like lets her know that, listen, you're not the only person I'm like caking with, I've got my other sources. And she at every birthday pulls out all the stops and obviously outdoes whatever cake he can come up with. So there's no way that whatever, he'll do, I'm doing this Lotus Biscoff and now I'm going to do this. It's going to be like a strawberry something. And she'll come and do like some mango cream something and she'll like just knock it out of the park. And so I don't know who's playing the game here, but clearly he is onto something where he's caught that this is a very competitive thing and I need to make the person a little uneasy.
What I like about this friend of yours is what he's doing is he's carefully studied how to break up monopolies. So he realizes he doesn't want this lady ever to feel like she's in a monopolistic situation. He has definitely studied Karl Marx, he has studied economics, he has studied Milton Friedman. He knows large monopolies and how to break them up. To create an environment of perfect competition by giving the lady a feeling of perfect competition, that will also bring out, it's inspiring in many ways. It'll bring out the best in her.
No matter what you do, when you have 3 cakes on the table, and this happens very often at birthday parties, everyone has an opinion, right? And everyone's going to eat all 3. There's no way that someone's saying, listen, I'm not going to eat this one. You're definitely going to try all. You're saying that one is very good. Huh? Where's that one from? No, the dark brown one. Yeah, that. No, I can't give you the number. It's like it gets into all of that, because it gets into a very... And then everyone starts gravitating towards one cake. And of course, bakers know this, like home bakers, people who are leaders of the industry, they know that the highly competitive end of the evening is right there when the cakes come out. So
And
I think that you have to.
and this particular baker is taking on a big risk, but also a big challenge by being present at
Yeah.
the party.
Yes.
By being
yes.
present at the party, putting her cake on the table. She's opening herself up to the battle with the other two
Yeah.
cakes where the confectioners are not even there, you know?
And it's nerve-wracking because she knows that,
Yeah.
listen, this bastard's going to pull out one or two other things. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
tried to do
yeah.
this. I did my best. I came
Yeah.
for this party and
Yeah.
she's sweating. At the
Yeah.
time that the cakes come out, she's
Yeah.
sweating.
Yeah.
Because now, you don't know whether he has like outdone himself with his order, or there's some home chef who's like, really kind of upped her game or his game. So she is really, and she's then looking at everyone's face for reactions at this point, like, oh shit, like how is this going to go down? How is this going to go down? So it's a very nerve-wracking moment for the person to be there, So
And
it's
very brave.
high,
I think it's
high
very
tension.
very brave.
Very
It's
brave.
very brave of her. I think if I was a confectioner, I don't think I'd have any friends, I can't see myself
Yeah.
making any friends because the risk is too high. Because one friend will
Yeah.
always, be like, oh, she's the number one baker in Bombay, it's going to her head. Let me
Right.
show her place. Someone will always say that, someone will be disgruntled with the cakes. And it's just typical practice, in India, I've realized, where someone is having a good run, especially with cakes or a restaurant. All it takes is for one person to say, and often, this person is dying to say it. It's like they're not as good as they used to be. The
That's
standard
all-
has
that's-
fallen. Based on no
It's just
judgment.
not the same.
It's not
Yeah.
the same. And it's usually after a long run when it is the same. And it is probably
Yeah.
continuing to be the same. But
Yeah,
it just,
yeah.
it's not, it's, all they name the bakery or whatever, it's not that Black Forest home or whatever, it's a, that
Yeah.
cheesecake, this cheesecake is not that cheesecake. Like
No.
remembering
She's lost
another.
interest, yeah. She's lost the
Yeah.
touch. I don't think she's even monitoring it anymore.
Yeah.
This is that normal. This is the
They're
standard lines. that-
Referring to a more winsome era, which could be a year
Yeah.
ago also, so they will not.
And that's the problem, that everything does become nostalgia ultimately, right? And the fight for all these bakers is not to become nostalgia,
Yeah.
but to and to stay current. Not to be, this was the one I used to have when I was a kid. No. This is the one you have now. This is the one that everyone's eating now.
And
So that's
bakers,
why-
I think bakers have the hardest time of everyone because
Yeah.
the world will not let them have a free reign. Even if they're
Yeah,
constantly
yeah.
reinventing and are fresh, anything, especially in Bombay, anything that's succeeded for a long time, someone is going to come in there and say, our Lynx Pavilion is not the Lynx Pavilion I knew.
Not a hold, yeah.
Because they want to cherish a better
Yeah.
era, that even if it's the same era.
Yeah.
And I feel like every 4-5 years, either bakers have to change their names, change the name of their shop, so that it comes out as new. Otherwise, that element of nostalgia, I mean, it's a very Indian thing. In Calcutta, you see it a lot with biryani, where people will say, Shiraz has fallen. Nothing has fallen. They haven't changed. Like, not one thing has changed in the last 40 years of that biryani I've eaten. But the person needs to, have a special relationship with the restaurant or the confectioner.
Yeah.
So he has to be able to say, what I experienced is better than what you're experiencing. So I've realized that consistency is a very bad, like, as Indians, we don't like history very much. Like, it has to change with me.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
We all want to feel like we lived in a better time with better food. And we want to look at certain restaurants as, like as we look
As
fondly
yours.
back to,
as yours.
ours.
As a private
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
See, whether it's your school,
Yeah,
but not
always.
the La Martiniere of my time was a different thing to what it is now.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you can't even compare. As in,
Yeah.
the standard has fallen. Like
Yeah.
the GD
It's,
Somani of my time was a different ball game, boss. I'm saying everyone, it's the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah.
No, nothing. In fact, it's better now. I'd
much
say
better.
it's much better now.
Children are better.
It's much
Teachers
better.
are better. Yeah. But
And
we
teachers
can't.
don't hate, and like there's no blood. No one's head
Yeah.
is bleeding out
Yeah.
of, you know.
There's
like,
no
all
power
that is
cuts.
not happening in here.
Yeah, yeah.
There's none of that.
Yeah.
So it's better now, but we want to just believe that no, it was much better. It was much better.
Kunal,
Yes.
I have a Diwali social media conundrum.
Okay.
At Diwali social media, everybody basically sends these diyas, these gifts. These little diyas are sent, and they usually have a text, written at the bottom. May the light of 1,000 lamps light up your Diwali, May the light of the universe from these diyas bring you joy and love to you and prosperity, this sort of thing. Now, I spent all of Diwali trying to come up with a funny version of that. May the 1,000 diyas, light up your Diwali but not set your house on fire. Like I was trying to find a funny angle. And then I realized one of the biggest problems with comedy is what happens if, my Diwali greeting GIF, I think they're called GIFs. You put a little photo of a diya and a little line of text. What happens if the comedy becomes just fact? Like, what if it reads like a regular Diwali message? And I was trying some joke like, may 1,000 lights illuminate you from the bottom or something. At one point, does the joke become the reality? That was my difficulty.
Well, I think that it's pointless trying to make because these jokes would be quite bad either way. Like whatever you think of is going to be it's going to be like one of those, may the lice of 1,000 camels infest your armpits, like one of those like one of those bad jokes that this thing, it's juvenile and it's just not fun. I think it's better to send a serious one. You send it straight. May you have a wonderful year ahead. And may your smile illuminate the lives of all you interact with. I don't know, something, just like and a fabulous year ahead. If you just send that to people you share a sort of ironic relationship with, like you'll share irony with this person, then you're going to get a laugh. You're going to get the desire because you've sent a straight thing. You've sent it straight, and I think they'll just see it as funny, and then to the people who don't get that irony, they'll just see it as this is just a Diwali greeting, how nice. So I think in both scenarios you can win. But if you try and be funny and then you send it to people who don't get that humor, like, Arey, on Diwali he's telling me my house is going to catch fire and all. What kind of guy is this? And all. Like, why is he saying these horrible things?
Yeah.
And what does my ass have to do with a diya and all that? So, like, this is rubbish, So you, like, those kind of people, of people will take offense to it.
They will be offended.
And then the other, and the ones who have irony will say, what a shit joke! What is this worst joke that this guy is making? Because they'll be like, Arey, this is damn lame, yeah. So I think you lose on both ends. I think it's better to send a straight message. If you in fact sent me a message saying Happy Diwali Kunal, I would be in splits, because
So
it's
this is
very
what
funny.
I mean, that people who are cynical and ironic, like I guess people like us, if we get a straight message from each other, like if I sent you a message in the morning saying, hi Kunal, good morning.
Have a great day.
Have a great day with a photo of some mountains and sunshine. You'd be like, what is he doing? What is he doing?
Yeah.
He wants something. What is the motive here? You think I'm probably in your living
My
room.
day is fucked is basically what I'll be thinking.
Your day is
that
fucked.
this bastard wants something.
Your
My
day-
day is fucked.
your day is
He's
fucked.
going to call later in the day and going to talk some shit.
Yeah, he's hijacked my phone. Something's happened. So I have a feeling that people who are bastards like us,
Yeah.
Diwali is a good time for finding out who our true friends are. Because anyone who gets a greeting from me, on Diwali saying, may 1,000 lights shine on you and your family, you'll know that some either my phone has been hacked or there's some other incentive.
No,
You
I
know
would
that
be
if
worried.
you
I
if
would be
you
worried.
tap on the JPEG, it'll blow up and make some fart noise.
Yeah.
You know, like
No,
you're
I'd
expecting
call the
something
police.
more. You'll call the police. You'll straight call the police. Kunal,
Yes.
I have a conundrum about photocopy shops in Bombay.
Okay.
It was very popular in the 90s, you know.
Yeah.
They used to also have internet, I think, in the 90s. There were internet
Yeah,
centers, remember? Before
They had
everyone
real
had a
internet,
laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people would sit there and spend all day there. That
They were
whole
called
business sort of died out.
Internet cafe.
Internet cafes, yeah.
Internet bar also they would call it sometimes. But there was no drink and no coffee. So it was just a room where people used to go into these little cubicles and masturbate. I mean, everyone knows this thing. Like
Yeah, it basically was pornography, wasn't it?
it was basically for pornography.
And I guess then all those computers went away, and then they shrunk those places, and now they are just for Xerox, stationery, lamination. Lots of school kids go in there wanting stuff photocopied, passports,
Yeah.
legal documents. Now, those shops are usually tiny, and you have to kind of hustle for attention.
Yeah.
You know, it's typically you've gone there to get a printout, to get something scanned. It's typically so you want the guy's attention because you want him to print the thing out from email. And my conundrum is that every time I'm in that shop, there's no formal line, there's no queue. So you have to go in there and kind of hustle for the guy's attention so he can serve you by printing out your document and scanning it or whatever. And I always lose out in the hustle because I think I'm standing in a queue because in my head I want things to be orderly, and then someone will come from the side and be like, "Do Xerox, uncle, 2 Xerox, uncle, 1 lamination, uncle," and then he'll pay more attention to that guy. So I've realized staying quiet and staying in your queue is no help
No.
in this situation, and that's why I wanted your advice on what the right way to behave is in a Xerox shop.
Well, the right way to behave is to be the person who's trying to cut the queue. Don't be
Yeah.
the guy who stands there in order and because generally you should always enter with भाई बस 4 चाहिए, just 4. इन लोगों का बहुत टाइम लगेगा. It is going to take very long for this guy stuff. The पूरा book Xerox करने का है. मेरा बस 4 पेज है. And then you tell that, just make a slight aside and अरे भाई 4 पेज ही है, जरा जल्दी से करके देगा. So don't be the guy who goes there and waits patiently. You should go there as the aggressor. Go there as
you're
the
saying
attacker.
when you walk in,
Yeah.
you should not make eye contact with the other people
no.
in the shop. Just
No,
straight
no.
to the vendor.
Straight to the vendor.
Okay.
And you attack him straight. Generally, what happens with me is that either I do that and I say, "अरे भाई बस दो ही पेज है अपना, ये इन लोग का बहुत टाइम लगेगा." But what happens when he takes my page also, some shit goes down and the Xerox machine always gets jammed. It gets jammed. It's like, then there's paper stuck in it. But then this guy knows the innards of this machine. He opens the side of the machine. He puts his hand in and pulls out one full black paper. Then he reloads it. He puts in some tube. And I like the style in which he knows exactly when to lift the lid of the Xerox machine.
Correct.
Without fucking up the Xerox. So he puts the paper in. And before that thing has finished its thing, it's on its way back. Just before the light beam is on its way back, he's already loaded the next sheet for it to Xerox. So these guys are now pros, at doing this
Masters.
shit. So
they are masters.
Yeah.
But tell me, there is a downside when the machine jams because you are then standing uncomfortably next to the guy whose work stopped because of you.
Yeah.
Do you make eye contact with that guy or not? Like, how do you then live with yourself?
Yeah, see, otherwise then what I do is then I have to give myself a break because see, when I know that now it's going to take time, then I say, अच्छा करके रखो, मैं आता हूँ 2 minutes में. Then I go out.
Because you don't want to make eye contact. Yeah,
I don't want to
you
interact with the people over there now. Now I've already, then what you do
But
is
do
you
you
go
think-
away, you have some tea, you come back, and then you can come back with even more aggression because you've given it a break. Then you can come back saying that, अरे अभी तक नहीं हुआ, अरे मैंने बोला था, मैं पहले आया था और मैं बोल के गया. So you can say that I had told you already to do mine. So
And I'd come earlier. Then you can use that earlier line.
Earlier, yeah. I was here first.
Yeah.
मैं तो बहुत पहले से आया था.
And if that other guy is still waiting, the guy you bullied, he doesn't have a line because he can't really say, I came earlier than his earlier. That doesn't sound as good.
It doesn't sound correct. It doesn't sound right.
He's already been repressed. You know? This is how, basically, this is the history of India, you know?
Yeah. Who was here first?
He said, I came earlier. I came earlier than that. It's just, actually, the history of India is a Xerox shop.
Yeah.
Kunal.
Yes.
Final conundrum. And it's from one of our lovely Patreon subscribers. And what it is, Kunal, is that it is a cycling conundrum.
Oh, nice. I used to cycle a lot.
Yeah? I have a cycle. I used to fall down quite a lot, but I had a cycle. So this conundrum is from Ravina Rao.
Hi, Ravina.
And I will read out the conundrum. Ravina says, Hi, my name is Ravina and I stay in London. I signed up to these cycling classes organized by the council for my borough. I wanted to start cycling to work, and so what I wanted from the classes was to understand road safety rules for cycling in London on busy roads and figuring cycling-friendly routes. However, I misunderstood the syllabus and now I'm stuck taking beginner classes on steering, stopping the cycle. But I know how to cycle, as I've been cycling all through my childhood in India. The instructor told me I improved a lot in the previous class quite quickly. But what does that mean? I already know all this. These are free classes, but I wanted to end this course on good terms with the instructor. I don't think I need these classes, but what if the instructor tells me he thinks I actually need them? That would be really embarrassing. What do I tell the instructor? Excellent conundrum. Thank you,
Very
Ravina.
good. Thank you.
So, you know, this is like, I feel like this happens in a lot of professions in foreign countries where they don't recognize your law degree, so you have to sit for law exams. They don't recognize dentistry or medicine. They don't think that the degrees in India count. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they're like, you know, I'm sure you have all this in your country, but it doesn't mean anything. And I think the same thing is being applied to cycling here with Ravina. I mean, the only difference is Ravina hasn't told them that she's a famous cyclist or an established cyclist. So they are treating her like a beginner. Like, for example, Kunal, when I went to college in America, I had to take a class called Beginning English. And Beginning English began with the alphabet, you know, basic things like cow, mow, dog, how, like things you teach infants. You know, it began like that. And I'm like, I'm learning basic English that I learned in nursery, but I guess they don't know that I know English. But as the class went on, I thought to myself, maybe I'm learning something here. You know, maybe I didn't learn in nursery. Maybe this is some other kind of English. And they were like, Anuvab, you're very good in this class. I said, thank you. And I had to do a sentence with Jack sits on the dash. And I had to say chair, you know. Don't pull my dash hair. You know, I had to say all that. And I was getting a lot of joy from this. I mean, I was 18, 19 years old. I was an old person. But I was doing infant English. And I was like, you know, maybe there's something here. They're saying it's very good. Maybe there are things I didn't learn. Maybe I don't know English. So it can really mess with your sense of what you know.
See, my thing is I mean, as soon as I heard the conundrum, my thing is very clear. I would stick with the class because, see, all through my life in every form of like structured educational class or whatever it is, even in things that I liked doing, you know, like whether I did a workshop on acting or photography or whatever it is, I was never top of the class. Never. I was never the best in the class. And in school, though, it goes without saying. So, I would be overjoyed, elated to be a topper in the class. Like, you know, just being able to be like the one that everyone's looking up to. And like, you know, like people are saying, just look at that Ravina, how she's doing it. My God, she's cycling in a straight. You saw the way she stopped the other day. She just like stopped. And people are just going crazy.
So you become a topic of discussion. Yeah, people talk about it. Yeah.
People talk about, then people come for advice, you know, maybe like there's some cute guys over there come up to you and say, like, can you give us some tips? Or, like, I know, if you have the time, maybe we can do a little cycling together. I think that because as a topper, you get these extra perks, these extra benefits. At
And
least
you have to deny your background and your expertise. You have to deny
you
that.
You just started 2 weeks ago, and you're already.
It's like if you enroll in a badminton course, say in the UK, in London, and you've been a national level champion in India, they don't need to know that.
They don't need to know. You can be the person where everyone just like, it's jaw-dropping cycling. And I'm saying, where do you get the chance?
I used to have a friend in school who used to run in the under 10s category, and he was 15. And he was much taller. He was much taller than those 9-10-year-olds, but he would run with them and destroy them, defeat them, leave them in tears. And he got great joy out of it, being a 15-year-old, because he had a fake birth certificate that insisted he was 9.
Yeah.
And he destroyed these 9-year-olds. They're like, this is not fair, sir. How's Poda running? It's not fair.
Yeah.
And Poda would say, I'm 9. And he was clearly 16.
Here, you're not even getting little kids to cry. You're just impressing people who can't cycle. So
So you're saying Ravina shouldn't say anything to the instructor. She should do like very cool like flips and stuff. And they're like, my God, Ravina, how did you do that?
Yeah.
She'd be like, oh, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I guess maybe, I don't know, sir. Maybe I'm good at this. I don't know.
Yeah.
And everyone will be jealous.
Am I the best at this? Are you saying that I'm the best?
Just very, what are you saying, sir? Just meekly throw that in there. Yeah. Or she could be bashful, saying, oh, come on, others I'm sure are as good as me. I'm sure, the others are doing very well also. They're doing very well. I mean, Emily fell down 4 or 5 times, but A for effort for Emily.
Yeah.
So she should bask in that, you're saying.
Yeah. Just bask in it. Soak it
because
up.
What good has come from honesty? Honestly, like if we really think about it, nothing.
Not much.
So Ravina, please, stick with us. Send us more conundrums. If you want to lead a dishonest, disingenuous, treacherous life, this is the podcast for you. This has been our last week, Kunal.
This has.
Yeah. And listeners,
we look forward to having more of you join our Patreon subscriber page, not page, but y'all can go to Patreon/Our Last Week and subscribe, and there's a host of benefits. There's a exclusive episode only for Patreon subscribers, and you get to hear the episodes a couple of days early. So if you all are so inclined, please do it and join our Last Week little family.
Exactly. Where else will you find a weird community like this? I mean, there's apparently some place called social media, but that's too large. This is a restricted number of people, and it's even more disturbing. We might be doing a live tour. We might even come to your city. We might get to meet you, and we can both be awkward with each other in each other's presence.
Yes.
And hopefully very soon we will have some Our Last Week merchandise that will probably be the only piece of clothing I will ever own. So there are many benefits to this.
Thankfully, not the only piece you'll ever wear, right?
Hopefully. Because I believe in many countries that is against the law. You can't show up. You'll be like, why are you just wearing a shirt? Oh, I didn't know. What are the rules of your country? Pants also. Oh, shirt and pants. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They should have said when they gave us the visa. They should have said.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do some classes.
I'll have to take some classes. This is. I spoke to my cake lady. She never said anything. Yeah. She just sent me a new cake and said the competition is getting fierce.
So, bye.
See you.
You were listening to Our Last Week, produced by Rajesh Tahil and Avdut Khanolkar, hosted by Anuvab Pal and Kunal Roy Kapoor. Assistant producers Akansha Kadam and Rahul Vaswani.